If you've been searching for comfortable walking shoes for women, but every option starts to look the same, this video should make the decision much easier. My partner Vicky and I have tested hundreds of walking shoes to find the 5 best options depending on what you actually want from a shoe. She's also a physio, so we looked at fit, stability, and how women's shoes differ from men's models. Let's start off with the softest and most comfortable option overall. The New Balance More V6 is the best max cushion walking shoe for women in 2026. If comfort is your absolute priority, this is the standout option. The More V6 has a very soft underfoot feel, and unlike a lot of max cushion shoes, it stays surprisingly stable because the platform underneath the foot is extremely broad. This makes a huge difference during longer walks or standing all day, because the shoe doesn't start collapsing inward once your legs get tired. Vicky noticed this most when walking on concrete and during longer days out where softer shoes can sometimes start feeling uneven or sloppy underfoot. The More V6 still feels very controlled despite how much cushioning there is. It also has a relatively low drop, so your foot sits in a slightly more level position compared to traditional walking shoes. Combined with the wide base, that gives the shoe a very stable and planted feel for a max cushion shoe. It fits true to size with a standard width that works well for most people. And there's plenty of room through the forefoot without the shoe feeling overly wide. This is a fantastic option if you walk a lot during the day, you stand for long periods, or travel frequently. Now the trade-off is that it's not a lightweight shoe. If you prefer something nimble and flexible, this may feel slightly bulky compared to some of the other options in this video. But for long distance comfort and pressure relief underfoot, the More V6 is one of the best walking shoes currently available on the market. Next is the best lightweight walking shoe for women. The Asics Gel-Cumulus 28 is the best option if you want something lightweight, more flexible and easier to wear all day casually. A lot of max cushion shoes can feel oversized and too bulky for everyday use. The Gel-Cumulus goes in the opposite direction. It feels much more natural and effortless on foot. This is the type of shoe that works extremely well if you're constantly on the move throughout the day, and you don't want your shoes feeling heavy after a few hours. The cushioning still feels comfortable, but has a slightly firmer and more responsive feel compared to the More V6. So instead of sinking deeply into the foam, you feel a bounce in your step. That makes this shoe very versatile. It works very well for walking, everyday wear, and occasional short runs or gym use. Vicky also found this one easier to style casually because it doesn't have the oversized appearance that some max cushion shoes now have. The flexibility through the forefoot also helps the shoe feel smoother and more natural when walking at slower speeds. Now if you want maximum softness, this will not feel as plush as the More V6, and if you have very sensitive feet, you may prefer some of the more rocket options that are in our list. But if you want a lightweight, versatile walking shoe that disappears on your foot and works well in almost every situation, the Gel-Cumulus 28 is one of the safest choices available. Next is the best wide toe box walking shoe for women. The Altra Experience Flow 3 is the standard option if normal shoes constantly feel narrow through the front of the foot. This is one of the biggest complaints I hear from people trying walking shoes. A lot of shoes taper aggressively around the toes, which can make long walks uncomfortable, especially if you have wider feet, bunions, toe irritation, or simply prefer more room naturally. The Experience Flow 3 feels completely different in that area. The anatomical toe box allows the toes to splay more naturally, which immediately makes a shoe feel less restrictive. Now one reason I really like this shoe is that it doesn't feel as extreme as the older Altra models. A lot of people still associate Altra with zero drop shoes that feel flat and unusual at first. But the Experience Flow 3 uses a lower 4mm drop, which makes the transition much easier for most people. So you still get that natural foot-shaped fit, but the shoe feels smoother and more familiar if you're coming from a more traditional walking shoe. This shoe works extremely well for longer walks, travel, and people who feel cramped in normal sized shoes. It also has a really stable base underneath the foot, so despite the wider fit, it doesn't feel unstable or sloppy while walking. Next is the smoothest rocker walking shoe for women on the market. The Nike Vomero 18 is the best option if you want walking to feel smooth, rolling and effortless. Some shoes feel very flat to the front, which means your foot has to do more work during longer walks. The Vomero 18 feels very different because the rocker geometry helps guide your foot naturally with each step. This creates a smoother heel-to-toe transition and gives the shoe a slightly more energetic feel compared to some of the more traditional walking shoes in this video. Vicky noticed this particularly during faster paced walking, where the shoe keeps momentum really nicely. So this is a great option if you walk quickly, if you like a more modern feeling shoe, or you want a walking shoe that feels a bit more lively underfoot. The cushioning also feels softer and more energetic than the Gel-Cumulus, so you get a combination of comfort and bounce without the shoe feeling excessively bulky. The upper feels comfortable around the foot, and overall this shoe has a more premium athletic feel compared to some more traditional walking shoes. Now the trade-off is that it's not the most stable option here, because the shoe is softer and more rockered. Some people may feel slightly less grounded. Now if you find the thoughts of that a little bit too unstable, then we have the Hoka Arahi 8, which is one of the best stability walking shoes for women in 2026. A lot of people hear stability shoe and immediately think of something stiff, arch support, heavy and uncomfortable. But modern stability shoes have improved massively over the years, and the Arahi 8 is one of the better examples of that. Instead of aggressively forcing your foot into position, the Arahi creates stability through the shape of the platform and supportive frame around the foot. The shoe feels naturally stable rather than overly controlling. This is a really good option if you tend to roll inward excessively, you feel unstable in softer shoes, or you stand for long periods. The cushioning feels balanced rather than extremely soft, which actually works very well for walking because the platform stays consistent throughout the day. Vicky especially noticed this during longer periods of standing, where softer shoes can sometimes start to feel unstable once your legs get tired. The rocker shape helps the shoe move smoothly despite the added support. Now, if you prefer very soft and plush cushioning, the Arahi 8 may feel slightly firmer compared to the more V6 or the Vomero 18. And if you naturally prefer neutral shoes, you may not need this amount of support underneath your foot. But if stability and support are priorities for you, this is one of the safest and most comfortable walking shoes currently available. So in summary, the New Balance More V6 is the best option if you want maximum softness and comfort underfoot. The Asics Gel-Cumulus 28 is the standout all-rounder if you want something lightweight and versatile. The Altra Experience Flow 3 is the clear choice if toe box comfort and forefoot space matter most to you. The Nike Vomero 18 is an excellent option if you prefer smooth rocker shoes with a slightly more energetic feel. And the Hoka Arahi 8 is the best option here if you want more support and stability underneath your foot. Let me know in the comments which categories suit you best, or if you're deciding between two shoes, because I reply to as many questions as possible. We've also linked all the shoes in the description below if you want to check out the latest price on Amazon, as they're changing all the time throughout the year. Otherwise, if you're new to the channel and enjoy detailed walking shoe reviews, explained simply, subscribe because we've got a lot more women-focused walking shoe content coming in the future. Thank you very much for watching.